Hello friends, welcome to the Jazz Ranch, Hip Cats and Groovy Chicks. I'm going to be playing a Burt Bacharach song for you today and talking about it later on. It's a great song called ALFIE from the movie ALFIE. Now you all know that Burt Bacharach died this year and he lived to be 95. He was a prolific composer of some of our best of popular music, but it is also jazz oriented. So I'm going to be playing what I think is his greatest song, ALFIE from the movie ALFIE. And there's going to be a link to a recording I made of this song with vocalist Carolyn Hartsfield. It'll be below this video. And also a link to the score so you can download it and study it and learn it. So here we go with a great song called ALFIE. Okay, welcome to the Jazz Ranch studio where I talk about what I played and the various techniques that I used. Now, I'm just going to talk through this thing and I'm not going to show you any manuscript paper. I'm just going to show you what I have here on the screen, the matching keyboard, and your manuscript up in the corner. But I'm not going to lay it out for you. What you need to do to follow along, I recommend that you download the actual score. It's all written out, all the notes, and you can download it from my website right now before you watch this video, and that'll be helpful for you to follow along. I'm just going to touch on the important techniques. Now, these are all techniques that I have talked about in previous videos, and I have playlists for these techniques. In other words, if I'm going to talk about tritone substitutes, I have a playlist for that. If I'm going to talk about drop 2 voicings or spread voicings or diminished chords, I have playlists of videos that I've made on these techniques. So you can find the playlist on my channel page of my YouTube, and learn from those, as well as this one. If you are more advanced student, if you're a beginner, this probably will not be the best video for you. I have other videos for beginners, but just starting out. Now, this is a great song called ALFIE, and it's very adaptable to jazz, and I did a jazz recording with Carolyn Hartsfield, and we recorded this song. We picked this out of all the popular songs we could have chosen as probably one of the best adaptable to jazz type chords and jazz interpretation. So right away I use a jazz type chord at 6/9. That just means that the 6 and 9 is in the chord rather than a major 7th. It would have sounded like this, or just a straight 6. This one is, it's a real pretty chord, voiced like that. Then you have the G sus chord there, but I voiced it like that. I'm just trying to use simple voicings that really sound good. I really like the sound of that voicing. It's kind of like a drop 2, because you could take that chord and take that second note from the top out and put it down below, and you'd have a drop 2 voicing. But the interesting thing about it is that it's a G sus chord, but it has, it has the 6th there, or the 13th and the 7th there, and the 9th there. So it's unusual in a way. Now we go here. Those are parallel 4th voicings. Then I use a tritone substitute here to take me to the E minor 11. Now I'm using big sounding chords because I'm playing tenths in the left hand. If you can't play tenths, then roll them like this. You'll get the same harmonic sound. And here I'm having, that's hard for me because of the bent finger, but I got a 5-note chord because I can use my thumb on those 2 notes. So that's the thing you can do to get a bigger sound, is play 2 notes with the thumb. And you can always roll it or arpeggiate it. There's a tritone substitute, half step above the chord I'm leading to. Do a G9 sus. See, so if you want to understand Burt Bacharach, you need to understand the sus9 chord. Now, it just means that you have raised the 3rd to a 4th, 5th, 7th, 9. You have all those in there. So you have the 4th and the 9th. Now an easy way to play this, or to conceive of it, and the way I do, is to play an A on the bottom and then a whole step below an A, the triad, which is the G. So that you get the chord right away, and it's very simple. Any chord you want to play, it's a sus9. You do the same formula. Play the root and then play a whole step below it, a triad, and you're going to get that chord. You're going to get that sus9 chord. Now alter it here. What is that? Well, that's got the flat 9, the sharp 11 in it. Then I do this. That's kind of a diminished approach on the melody. So I'm voicing the melody. This is something I learned from Bill Evans. Try to voice your melody notes with chords. So even simple chords like that, that's simple. It's just 3 notes. But it's really pretty. Same thing there. Simple chords. And then this, parallel motion. I'm harmonizing on the melody. Like this. Red voicing there, or block chord actually. Now another tritone substitute. And then another tritone. Now here I'm using the Barry Harris technique, if you know about this, and I have videos on this, on how to use diminished chords based on the Barry Harris diminished 6th scale. So it's just going up there, up the scale, alternating between 6 chords and diminished chords approaching the next 6th chord and the next chord. Diminished, melody note in 6, diminished, 6th chord, so I'm harmonizing the melody. Now here's probably the most interesting thing I did here. Now that's very dissonant. Now what it is, it's a double diminished chord. In other words, 2 diminished chords stacked. So I have an F sharp diminished, which is the actual chord that he wrote, and then the melody note is not a note in the chord. It's very clever, but it's, so I'm playing the other diminished chord, which is a whole step above that. You get this. Haha. Bill Evans uses that chord. And it's very ethereal. Back to sus again. Then harmonizing the melody. And then tritone substitute, this is a beautiful sounding chord, I think. That's the half step above the C chord. And it's a D flat sharp 9. Well, there it's a sharp 9. If I do that, it goes to 9. Sharp 9 to 9. You're not going to use flat 9 here. Now, next thing I do is I change how I'm going to play, how I'm going to voice the melody. And I go up an octave. Now, this is something that I learned from Bill Evans. Don't repeat yourself. I'm not just going to go, use a repeat sign and go back and play what I played before, because that's not interesting. Bill Evans always tells a story in which it's developing over time, and you hear new things come in and new ways of either voicing the melody or phrasing it. So I'm phrasing it the melody differently, and I'm voicing it the harmony differently. I'm going up an octave, so instead of this, I have it up here, and I'm playing it's very sweet. It's sort of like these rootless chords. So I'm playing the C major 7 with the 7th on the bottom and the root in there. So you have that minor second right there. You can see it, that minor second, and so you get a pretty sound. And I came up with these reharmonization that I think really works nicely with this. Down to a B flat diminished, then to this D minor chord with an A in the bass, and then D minor chord with a flat 5 in it. You could call it an F minor 6 in first inversion if you want, but I really like that sound. Then release it and play the G. And then these chords, C major again, and then a D9. This is sort of like an A minor in a way, A minor. But it's really a C based on the chord structure. But then to a 4 chord in root position, to a 3 chord in root position, F, and then the tritone substitute, to the A sus, then alter it. Now here's a D flat diminished. Why? Because it works perfectly with the melody to take me to the D minor there. And then another rise to a diminished chord. Then a tritone substitute. So the tritone substitute is used a lot here because I learned that from Bill Evans. Use the tritone substitute whenever possible, and you want to look that up on my videos, tritone substitutes. It's a beautiful way to harmonize in a dense way, or a more complex way, and a more interesting way. Here it is again. Now here's Bear Hair's diminished scale again. And here's that beautiful half diminished to the diminished chord. Really very exotic sounding. Now we're going into the bridge, so I'm going to approach it from a half step above to a B minor. So we're on the B minor for the bridge, B minor 7. So I'm going to put the E flat 7 there as a tritone again Wow. To get that, it makes it a sharp 9 with the melody. Now here's the most unusual chord in the song. Now, it's very daring that he used that chord because the melody note is a flat 9 against the chord. And you just don't hear melodies like that. This is what makes this such an innovative song in its time, when it was written back in, I think, probably the 70s, but I don't know the exact date. And then resolves it right away from the flat 9 up to the 9. And then this beautiful line back to the B minor. I'm going to put an E7 in there, and I'm going to now approach back to the B minor again. Now you can harmonize this. Now this line. There's this great G sus chord. You know, the 5 of the key, but in sus 9. No, we're just talking about the melody and the chords, but the lyrics are beautiful there too as well. So now moving on, I'm going to play again that. I'm repeating myself in a way, but that's okay. I haven't done that in a while. Now it's something new. And we're getting down to that point in the song where we're coming to its climax, so to speak. You know, so it's like this is both in the message as well as the melody and the lines. So we have a beautiful progression there. F sharp half diminished, F7 sharp 11, and then resolving to E minor. You know, so beautiful move to the 3 chord and then the 6 chord, leading us down again. And these, I harmonize these in a diminished pattern. Those are diminished patterns for the 3 chord. Then this diminished approach to the 6 chord. And now we have the climax of the song, this chord. And it's ALFIE. 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 Okay, so that's an E chord over a D7. That's pretty interesting. A stacked chord. D7, E7. So now what goes with that? I played a whole tone scale. To give it an exotic afterthought, so to speak. Now, calm again. Back to G sus. Isn't that beautiful? Diminished chord in there. Repeating. Vera Harris again. And then I'm going to put that D flat chord in it. So we're coming to the resolution. But before I resolve it to C, I'm going to put the G chord again, but with an unusual voicing. Because it's like a sharp 9 with a sharp 5. And then resolving it with just ALFIE again. On the tonic. So please, if you enjoyed this, if this is something you want to learn, you can learn a lot about harmony and how to create an arrangement by downloading the score and following along. So thanks for watching, and we'll sign off now. Thanks so much for joining me on this video on ALFIE. I hope you enjoyed this. Please write to me. I love to hear from you. I always respond to all comments if you give me enough time. And until next time, I'll say in the words of my great friend upstairs, Hermie Dressel, who always said to me when I left his office, swing loose, and we'll see you next time around. Bye-bye.